Today, I'm going to talk about the tragedy of fame. One of the, for me, the biggest gaslighting case that is definitely not talked of, and I don't think it's even on the category. So I would like to show it up today. If we go past the next slide. Okay, this is the first part. A sucker for fame, it's always late. To start, I would like to give a little bit of context. Britney grew up as the well known celebrity child, but not because she was a celebrity at that time, but because her parents wanted her to be one so bad that, in fact, she has spoken on the beginning of her career about how her real dream was always to be a mom. She wanted to be a mother. She likes singing, but it was definitely not her passion, she said. This is important because she spent much of her childhood in talent contests that her parents put her in, and where she actually met, well, not actually, when she met her future ex-boyfriend, Justin Timberlake. They were the couple of the moment. They were everywhere, super influential, and in all the tabloids. They eventually broke up. And given the fact that Justin's solo career totally failed because it was actually the boy band time. So he failed. And Britney was the boom of the moment. Um, he just decided that he was going to explode that fact and take advantage that, he decided to abuse the fact that he dated the Britney Spears to the point of mentioning their failed relationship until 2009 and dedicating a song to her, Cry Me a River. Out by 2009, she already had 2 kids and 2 ex-husbands. So it's pointless to say that she was really over it, that he was not. He was talking about her and all his interviews, painting her as the terrible villain and him as the poor boy with the broken heart. He also mentioned on international TV that he and Britney had sexual relationships, which caused the whole world to go against Britney, receiving hate speech and a lot of slut shaming and harassment for being the problem in the relationship and broken poor Justin so bad, making her apologize to the world for no reason and cry constantly on interviews. Now passing to this next slide. Uh, this one's personally really sad, and the paparazzi and the downfall of the princess of pop. Britney had conceived a 2-year marriage with one of her dancers. I don't remember his name. And she had 2 children with him. When they divorced, she began to hang around with the bad influence of the moment, Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, and go partying and start with the excess, alcohol, drugs, etc. This is when her paparazzi era began. In 2007, she lost the custody of her children because of different controversies caused and spread by the paparazzi. They chased her massively. And when she tried to run away from them, she ended up in complicated situations that people misinterpreted, and the whole world ended up calling her a bad mother, which is really, really terrible for her. They hurt her. She was constantly crying. That's when the famous picture of her crying on food place gone viral, because she was hiding from paparazzi, and she went to this food place when they laughed at her and leave her on the public eye again. After fight with her ex-husband, in which he didn't let her see her children, and then the paparazzi began to chase her everywhere, even when she cried and begged for them to stop. So she has the most famous meltdown on pop history and culture, in which, trying to avoid the paparazzi, she had enough. And in a way of protest against them and the perfect princess picture they put her in, she shaved her head and got some tattoos done, and then she hit a paparazzi car with an umbrella when they still followed her. Oh, a little parenthesis here, to recall that she was only 25 years old, and that mental health was still really taboo and not talked enough at all. The tabloids were filled with stories of how Britney had not only lost her hair, but also her head, allegedly classified as the dangerous crazy woman. Page were making bets on how much time it would take her to commit suicide. A year later, thanks to all of these events, the Britney law was consolidated, which this law protects public figures from paparazzis. I think they cannot go so near of them because they were huge crowd that follow celebrities and put cameras straight to their faces. They cannot do that anymore to this day. And now with the finished part, the last slide, please. The devil and the forever victim for the finale. In 2008, she was taken to a psychiatric hospital completely against her will. They took her by surprise. Her father decided by himself that she was not well and established guardianship. For usually guardianship, it was supposed to only last a year, but because of some events, he put her on trial, and they decided to make it a little longer, a little 13 years longer. He decided that all her work moved, her finances. He was going to decide that, and he was going to take care of that. He decided that she cannot drive, she cannot travel without supervision, she cannot vote, she cannot give unscripted interviews or say something if they hadn't planned it. He controlled her social media, her social circle, her friends, it's all controlled by him. He also chooses her doctors, discusses him to have the power to prescribe her medications that she doesn't need at all for those fake diagnoses. Every time she goes to trials, she also has to use lawyers that her own father chose, even if the trial is against him. And that end up putting her on a bad position because after all, everything is controlled and fake, and he decided what is going to come out of it. He also put her in a super slavery contract doing show in Las Vegas. She had to do shows every day, no matter what. And when he was, he had some health issues, and he couldn't do the guardianship for a year, and another woman took his place for that timeline. Brittany noticed that he was also stealing from her by giving her the a really small portion of her real salary, and doing her finances, he kept the rest. I they put the whole Free Britney hashtag and movement, and she finally is free from her father and can control her own life. For me, that's one of the biggest gaslighting in almost every term. I'm so sad to say that I think the whole Britney Spears career was a gaslighting towards her, keeping her hostage of her freedom. But yeah, it's really sad. I think it should have a little bit more investigation so people know the background, and that's all.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, Mafer. This is definitely one of the worst gaslighting stories in the pop world or in the music world. And I
Yeah,
didn't know about it until I watched that Netflix documentary. I couldn't believe my eyes. Really, this man is the devil.
yeah, it was so sad. I cry a little bit because, as I said, I did not have time to watch the documentary, but I heard a lot of podcasts while I draw or while I do my homework. So I actually heard a lot of interviews when you can notice that she was like so sweet little innocent girl, and they were constantly trying to destroy her. Like, I remember an interview when all of this Justin Timberlake stuff came out, and he was just whining about how she broke up with her and that. And the the interviewer was attacking her, basically telling her like, what does it feel to be such a being fatal and a bad woman, and why did you broke just being hard? This is the example you tried to give your little sister. Look at these photos, and she put up old pictures when she photo shoots, sexy photo shoots, and it made her cry so much, and she was visibly disgusted with herself, and for no reason. Why would you do something like that? It's such a sweet person.
She was
Mm.
clearly manipulated. Yeah, she was
Yeah,
manipulated because she was innocent.
yeah,
She was
so
naive. She was sweet, and oh, that was sad. Can't believe Justin Timberlake kept talking about the breakup after two ex-husbands and two
but
kids.
it's two kids. ex-husband, and he was like, "Oh yeah," because it was the only thing that gives him the fame that he wanted.
Do you think he would have reached that level of fame if they had never been involved in a relationship?
I don't think so because he really, really failed his solo career, and I think that it will kind of be a fail and then left there because that's what usually happen. But then he noticed that talking about her gave him recognition, so he really used that.
To his advantage.
Yeah, he took power over it.
Well, thank you for all the research you've done on this. You've provided details and extensive documentation. um, thank you for that. Milton, did you know about this case?
Yes, I heard something about the father, but I was not aware about her relationship with Justin Timberlake. I didn't know that.
If you want to learn more, I recommend watching the Netflix documentary. It's really good. You have to be in good frame of mind though, because it's gonna make you really sad. It made me feel angry, frustrated, and sad at the same time. So yeah, um, just be in the right frame of mind because it's gonna make you feel things. All right, guys.